It's time to underline that statement again. You should buy a Toyota. Let's get started. We recently did a video on an LS400 Lexus, and you guys really loved that because you know they're that good of a car. This is just a large version. As far as the reliability is concerned, the engineering, it's the same Toyota engineering. This customer is one of our good customers. It's actually a married couple. They own two Lexuses. They have this GX470 and they also have an LX570. Both very nice vehicles. We're going to take a look at this today. It's just getting an oil change. It's not here for anything major broken. Imagine that, it's a Toyota. But when this couple retired, they made the decision, they said, you know what? There's a lot of things I want to do in retirement. And one of those things that I don't want to do is constantly be fixing my car because every 30 days it's broken, broken, broken. They don't have time for that. They didn't save up for retirement so that they can spend their retirement fixing cars. So they knew, I need to get Lexuses. They got two of them. Actually, the husband had an LX470, I believe. He moved up to an LX570. And now we have the wife's GX470 in for an oil change. So let's take a look around this thing. It's got 160,000 miles on it. And it still drives like a brand new car. Let's take a look around it. So here are the front of this 2008 GX470. You can see the headlights do have a little bit of yellowing on the top surfaces of them. And they're not really bad enough to really mess with right now. It still has good clear visibility as far as shining light in front of the car. As we go down the side, it's in good shape. The paint is in very nice shape. This couple takes very good care of both of their Lexuses. Wheels are in good shape. Tires look good. No dents, no dings, no cracked glass. Almost like a champagne gold, isn't it, Mrs. Wizard?
I would say, and I love that color. That's an easy to care for color.
Yes.
It really hides dirt.
Come around to the back. Again, it's not caved in or beat up. It does have a receiver hitch for towing. These do have air suspension in the rear. And on this side, it's just as clean, just as nice. It looks like a fairly new car, even though it's almost 15 years old. Let's go ahead and open the hood. And here we are with a big plastic engine. It's got bolts and things holding that cover on. We're not going to tear it all apart. This is the 4.7 V8 that Toyota makes, and it does have a timing belt. We can see here that it was done right at 100,000 miles. We're at 160 now, so it has quite a bit of time left on its timing belt and water pump, so we're not going to be messing with that. But other than a little bit of dust just from driving around, it's in very good, clean condition. And they keep their vehicles that way. If anything goes wrong with these cars, we get a phone call and they want it fixed. That's how you keep your cars on the road and keep them happy and actually keep the repair bills down. So not a whole lot going on under the hood. Let's take a look on the interior.
Here we are, ladies and gents, and there it is, 159,220 miles. And it's not going to look like it. Let's go ahead and turn that off, though, save some battery on there. But look at that dash. No cracks, nothing. It is a hard plastic, which makes it quite durable. Have a little bit of wood-ish trim around it from our fabulous fake trees on our planet, but they look really nice. Kind of got a nice bronze color for our infotainment system. Nice and easy to use. Kind of a light tan on our glove box and our door card as well. The seats are a cream leather, and they also have a nice little armrest to actually make it a little bit more comfortable for the driver and the passenger to sit separately. As we look at our back seat, and you can tell, this is a retired couple. They have not been used back there very much. There's not too many people. There's no little kids sitting back there or anything like that. It does have a nice big storage area back there. It does not have a third row, but obviously they don't need it. It's just the two of them. Ceiling, fabulous condition, because again, no little kids running in here. Might have grandkids occasionally, but nobody's running back here all the time, so no Cheeto fingers or anything marking up that ceiling. It's looking good, no sags, nothing crazy. Has a nice, really big moonroof, and there you go. You can see the ceiling of our shop. Okay, legends, here we are at that steering wheel, like always, as we end, and you'll see there are a few more actual controls there than other Toyotas. Being that this is a Lexus, it gives you a few more luxury items, and so we can control that radio, and we can control our phone calls. Nice and easy to focus on that space in front of us. So why don't we get this pushed up there and get it up in the air?
You ready for a really boring inspection? No, it's not a Chevy with leaks everywhere. It's a Toyota, and we're probably not going to find a whole lot. But let's take a look anyways. They asked us to take a look, so that's what we'll do. Here's our condenser and radiator, all nice and dry. There is two little screws missing here, little plugs for this little plastic piece. Maybe they fell out. We will be putting new ones on for that. All the sheet metal is intact. Brakes are like 80%, they're good. Nothing loose. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. You can see it doesn't have front air shocks or hydraulic shocks or anything. They're just normal shocks up front. Steering boot is nice and dry. We can see up through this little hole here that our oil pan for the engine and the differential in that area are all spotless, nice and dry. CV boot's dry, shock is dry, sway bar link is good, brakes are good. And we move back to the transmission area. Again, nice and dry. There's a little bit of smudge of grease where we greased this U-joint and it slung a little bit out, but that's not a problem. That's just from service. We'll clean that off, but that's not an issue. We can see on the engine, besides the block, everything is dry as a bone. It's literally like an Arizona desert under here. There's no leaks or drips anywhere. U-joints are good. Here's our transfer case. Again, no leaks anywhere. You can see where we've serviced the grease zerks and everything. Every time it comes in, we service those, and it makes a tiny bit of a mess. We'll clean that off, but nothing serious. Here we are back at our rear axle. Nice and dry there. U-joint's good. You can see in the back that these do have rear air springs, kind of like a load leveling system. On an LX470 or even a 570, it has a full hydraulic suspension system all the way around on all four wheels. But these are air in the rear only. So those are good. A little ride height sensor, make sure that they're intact. Everything's good there. The shock is nice and dry. The brakes in the back are about 70%. Nothing loose there. Air spring is good. Shock is dry. Brakes are good. And as we end at the spare tire, we always check these when they come in. They get neglected so much, where they go to oil change places and they don't check that. Can you imagine you got a flat, you lower your spare tire and it's flat too? I mean, it's just, it doesn't take much just to squeeze it. Say, you have to lower it to check the pressure to get to the valve stem, but there's at least 30 psi in there. It's enough to get them down the road. So, really uneventful under here. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the ground. So we're at 160,000 miles on this Lexus GX470, and there isn't even one single drip. Other than the grease zerks being greased, which slung a little grease out, which is normal, there is not one drip of anything, anywhere. The brakes are good, the suspension is tight, it drives like a new car. I can think of so many vehicles that would reach this mileage point at 160,000 miles, and there would literally be leaks everywhere. Think about a Porsche Cayenne. They don't even make it to 100,000 miles, and there's leaks everywhere. A BMW X5. It would have been on its third sets of leaks by now. Leaks fixed, more leaks, fixed, and on the third set. Any Volkswagen product, really, by now will be leaking all over the floor. There are a lot of American cars that would have serious issues or leaks. A Chevy Equinox, a GMC Terrain, a Buick Enclave, Ford Explorers. There's all kinds of different vehicles that their story at 160,000 miles would not be this vehicle's story. Not even close. So that's kind of what I'm getting at when I really push people, and also Scotty Kilmer tries to push people to buy Toyota products. Because we both get asked so many times, what kind of car should I buy? But no one ever listens. Because they go shopping for this Lexus or this Toyota, and they're like, well, I budgeted 15 grand, but they're wanting 24 for that thing. I don't have that. Well, you're going to have that, because when you buy the Equinox, you're going to put that much again into the vehicle, trying to fix everything, constantly fixing things.
But didn't they just cancel the Equinox for 2023?
No, it was actually the Buick Encore. 2022 is the final model. Thank heavens. It is the evil cousin to the Enclave. Those are trash. Don't buy one of those at all. Their 1.4 engine, the little turbo that's in them, that frequently fails over and over. We actually called the dealer one time as a customer wanted to replace the engine. The dealership said the manufacturer is so behind on engines, on warranty work, that there are no engines to buy. So I called Powertrain Products, where we get all of our rebuilt engines and transmissions from, and they said, we're not even interested in rebuilding those engines. They are that bad. So that's not this vehicle's story. Did they pay more for this vehicle? You bet they did. They paid a premium for this car. But it has paid off in dividends greatly. They have been able to enjoy their entire retirement this far without transmission rebuilds, engine out jobs, major catastrophes happening. They're able to focus on the fun things in life and just drive their car. Obviously, they maintain it. They do very good at maintenance. It's here again for maintenance. They frequently are bringing their car in for fluid flushes, brake jobs, oil changes, everything. They keep up on that stuff. And they know if they do that on a Lexus, it may very well last them the rest of their life. Is a Toyota bulletproof 100%? No. There is no car in existence that is. But it's the closest that you can get to that in a vehicle. So this video wasn't very eventful. There was no catastrophe to look at or anything like that. And that's exactly what we're pushing here is, I knew this just needed an oil change. I knew this would be a good video to show you guys. This happens a lot with Lexuses and Toyotas. We do the oil change. I don't get to do any other work. There is nothing else to fix, and it goes out the door. So if you're curious what kind of tools we're going to use to do the oil change on this GX470 or the work that's happening on the XLR, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. And as you can see in the background, something's happening to the XLR, which is another reason why you need to hit the subscribe button, because you want to keep up with what we're about to do to that thing. Thanks for watching.